to another episode of What You Doing Podcast, the interview podcast where I talk to cool people about the amazing stuff they're working on. My name is Matt. This time I'm talking to Nova and Quinn, the co-designers of Dragon Reactor, the mythopoetic mech tragedy TTRPG. When I saw the Dinoberry Press account on Blue Sky talking about the demo for Dragon Reactor, I checked it out and was so immediately hooked on what that game was. I immediately reached out and was like, I got to have y'all on the podcast. We got to talk about this game. I want to know everything about this game. And well, you know how that went because here we are. You hear more from me in the outro. So for now, let's get on with the interview. Hey, everybody. Welcome to What You Doing Podcast, the interview podcast where I talk to amazing people about the cool stuff they're working on. Today, I am joined by Quinn and Nova. So many people. We got two people. It's crazy when this happens. We're here to talk about Dragon Reactor. This is so out of hand. I don't know how much of this I'm going to cut out. But trust me. Listen, listener, listen. It's been wild. It's been wild. But we're here to talk about Dragon Reactor, which let me tell you, I read earlier today, and then now sitting here in this Discord call, I understand completely. I feel like as soon as you feel the energy of this, if you could feel the energy of this Discord call over the last 5 minutes, it explains so much about Dragon Reactor.
Which you can if you subscribe to the What You Doing Podcast Patreon.
There you go. Listen.
There we go. Quinn,
you should.
Our stuff.
This is called generosity. Nova, you ever heard of it?
I don't think that's a stat in our game.
Not yet.
Not yet. Hi, I'm Nova. I use they, she pronouns. I am one of the two co-designers of Dragon Reactor alongside Quinn. I'm one half of Dinoberry Press, which you might know from Gun and Slinger, You're in Space and Everything's Fucked. Most recently, Little Wolves, Just a Car, Motel Spooky 9. We got a whole bunch of stuff, and we're great. I am not normally this, like, up my own shit, but it's been a long day.
But also it's so, like,
more people should be. More people should be like, my shit rules. Look at all of the shit that I've made, and it all rules. I love it. I respect it.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Samuel Quinn Morris. You can call me Quinn if you like. Pronouns he, they. I have designed Any Percent, which was laid out by Jam, also of Dinoberry Press. I also wrote the 1E Manifesto. I think those are the two things that, if anyone knows me, those are the things they know me for. I've got a lot of stuff in the background, but I'm a designer and not a publisher, so that's the situation.
All I do is put the words on the paper, and then I need somebody else to put the paper in the place.
Oh, it's true. It's so
It's
true.
true.
It's so true. But I am the other one of the co-designers of Dragon Reactor, and just like, I really like doing it.
It's good. I think we have a lot of fun working on this game. It's a very, very rewarding project to work on. We've been working on it for
who I'm working on it with, right? Like, because like you guys know Nova, you just heard Nova's like resume or whatever, and that stuff is all well and good. It's really, really cool. But like the thing about Nova is they're exactly as cool as you would expect them to be from the things that they've made. And just hearing it right off again, it's like, it's such an honor and such a pleasure to work with someone like
I'm
Nova.
really, really. I hope one day that you yourself learn to release games, Quinn, so that you can have a. I say this, but Quinn is genuinely working on like so many really, really cool projects. Travel Not Advised, second edition. I know that there's more in there, but like I said, I've got
like 6 whips. I've got like the 6
Star Wars game.
Deeply playable games.
Yeah.
Like I need to follow my own advice with the 1E Manifesto and just like release the playable parts of these things, because frankly, I'm a really fucking good game designer.
Can we swear on this? Can we swear
absolutely.
on this?
Please do. Yeah,
okay,
please do.
Great.
Yeah.
They're a really fucking good game designer. But yeah. We've been working on this for like almost 3 years now. It's been an incredibly rewarding process for the both of us. I've learned a lot from Quinn. Quinn has learned a lot from me. And when our two brains mash together to fight over what words we're going to use on something, it comes out pretty damn great.
I love this is the second opportunity I've had. Second? God, I hope it's second. I hope I didn't forget one. to interview sort of a pair of designers, and it's always very funny to hear the rapport immediately. You know, just immediately that energy, that communication and stuff. Which I imagine after working together for 3 years on a project, like you would have to be like the worst design duo to work together for 3 years and then not have that. That's like you're the dysfunctional couple of design. Like, why you should stop. It feels like you're not clicking, and it feels like you should stop.
Yeah, I think that's probably very true. I don't know enough about game design to like know if that's true, but it seems like it would be. Also, I should mention, Dragon Reactor is our mythopoetic mech tabletop role-playing game. If you like the idea of those words together, you should head to bytes.rip/dreams. That's bytes.rip/dreams, like the thing some people have when they sleep. It is deeply, deeply, deeply inspired by Armored Core, Gundam, specifically like Iron-Blooded Orphans is what we're pulling from, Mech Warrior, The Expanse, and just like war stories and tragedy. Escaflowne's in there too, obviously.
Yeah, it's really like a good shortcut to understanding what we did is we took a kind of your given Gundam thing, and we were like, how do we make these emotional beats hit more strongly and feel like they surround you more in play? And we were like, let's make it weirder. Let's add more poetry to it. Let's add more vibe. And that's how you end up with something that we call mythopoetic. That's how you end up with something that has that uses in a very straightforward sense the mechanics of poetry as mechanics that you can use in the game, and this creates moments of huge emotional impact with relatively little weight or crunch. It's direct, it's efficient, and it's really, really satisfying.
I just want to say really quick for the listener, there was a third. This is the third one. I fucked up. I forgot one. I'm so sorry.
Wow.
You know what?
Well, now that you've
I forgot, so no one can be mad. You don't know who I was thinking of and who I forgot.
That's right. I'm not allowed to be mad. But now that we have talked for a while, I'm sure that you would like to have the reins of your own podcast. So I think I'll shut up for a second so that you can ask questions or whatever.
Listen, that's how it goes. That's part of, you have the guest on and they talk as much as they talk, and then sometimes I get in here and and I ask a question and then I step back and.
Well, I would love to hear your questions, because we Quinn and I can yap about this game for days. So please direct us.
We've been making it for 3 years. We've talked about this game so much. Just let us
talk more about like specific.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna hit you. The first question is gonna be the question I had when I was reading through this, and it is: this is a silly question, but this says a lot about the game. Are the dragons literally dragons? Like, are we playing like fucking dragon riders, or are they like?
That is entirely up to you. One of the questions during the setup phase of the game, you actually together build your unique world, and it's like 4 really broad questions that ask some very important questions, such as like, what is the shape of technology in this world? Where do dragons come from? And the only things that are like fact is that dragons are not just mechs. They're something more. They are incredibly powerful, and they can look however you want. We have had in play tests where, it's a relatively consistent setting where they're just Gundam-style mechs, or they're big steampunk, diesel punk-powered weird things. But also in our ongoing playtest campaign, we have things that are shaped like dragons. We have things that are shaped like the mechs in Escaflowne. We had a swarm of bees.
Yeah, just a swarm of robotic bees. That was a dragon and a pilot in one thing, actually.
Yeah.
I'll also just throw in one from a game that I played, which was we were talking about what does technology look like, and we determined that technology ran on faith, like religious faith. and that instead of being like mechanical in any sense, it was carved stone that you would carve with glyphs, and that would turn it. You could funnel your faith into this thing, and so there were like the mechs were just giant statues that just ran. They just worked. And then there was like an enemy faction where all of their mechs were just like animals, just giant statues of animals that then they painted to look photorealistic. So, just like the way that the questions are asked, because I think one thing that some people hear when they hear, "Oh, you make your own world," is they're like, is this gonna be a little open-ended? Am I gonna feel lost? I really, truly, the way that the questions are framed, phrased, and given to you in this game, you're not gonna feel lost. You're not gonna feel like, man, where do I start? It tells you where to start. It tells you where to go.
Mm-hmm. We rewrote these questions like 12 times or some shit like that. Like, it was constant. We would do a play test and go, I don't like how that felt. And the next time we did our dev meet, we would spend the first half of it going, what didn't we like about this? Why didn't it work? How can we better steer? Also, because like we have a very specific idea for like, we want to steer people towards something without holding their hand and forcing it on them. Like, you can play this however you want. So yes, they can be dragons.
Yeah, short answer. They can be dragons.
The important thing is they're big, they're super powerful. You cannot bring out their full potential, and they are not just big robots.
Yeah, because that's the thing, right? And this is the power of setting agnosticism, which is something that's a huge deal, I think, for both me and Nova in the games that we design separately. Is we care a lot about setting agnostic, and one thing that this allows and enables is that this game is not really about the aesthetics of what a mech is. It's about what the themes of what a mech is. Mm-hmm. It is about the Gundam as the nuclear weapon, the end-all, be-all, right? The thing that changes the world. And so you can make your dragons look however you want, act however you want, but their role in the world and their role in the story, that will always be the same. And so you get to just do whatever the fuck you want, big guy.
It's great.
It says put that on the cover. Dragon Reactor.
We don't have
whatever the fuck you want, big guy. Like,
we already have a subtitle and we don't have room for a second.
If only.
It was going to be the first game with 2 subtitles.
Oh man, don't. Quinn, no.
Quinn's like, look at all these games I haven't published. I can edit them at any time.
I've already made the short link.
I'm ready to go.
Oh, God.
I do want to come back. No, but that was the wildest URL I've ever heard a person utter in my entire time existing on the internet.
Thank you.
That like you're used to like, yeah, go to .com or .org, and it makes me think of the super old SNL skit that is probably one of those things that's like burned into my brain because of autism.
Nice.
It was like it was like the early 2000s, and the joke was like, yeah, we've run out of internet addresses. And it was for like a bank where it was like, oh yeah, Southwest Bank. Find us online at clownpenis.fart. They ran out of web addresses.
Yeah. So that would stick in the mind.
This is all we have left is clown. And of course they have him say it like 4 times during the commercial, and I'm like, clownpenis.fart. Someone has to
there was a period in my life where I collected novelty domains for a little while because it was very funny to say, oh yeah, you can just go to ur.gay and you'll find my stuff. Don't worry about it. But the bytes.rip actually comes from the old YouTube channel that I had, which I still have, Indie Bytes. I had a podcast called Byte Club, and I tried to get the domain byte.club, and someone wanted to charge me $5,000 for it. So I said, well, rip, and I got bytes.rip. And that has just hung around. I've had that domain for like 8 years now, and I just use it for everything. All of our short links, all of the Dino Berry short links are bytes.rip.
That's great. It's memorable.
Yeah.
It's memorable. All right, we're not here. Listen, we're not here to talk. This podcast has the wildest energy, but I love it. I want to say, I feel like it fits what we're talking about.
It's because I took the nap. I'm sorry.
It's
It is.
It's all the ibuprofen.
Yeah, it's I do want to say, for people who are like listening to us absolutely piss around right now, the game itself is like pretty serious. Like, you can be funny with it. Quinn had a playtest that was extremely hilarious that they told me about. But
it's the same one I mentioned, actually.
Yeah,
it's the same one with the statues. The game that had the statues in it was initially, the very first thing we did in the game was, we were like, hey, what if our home planet is just a planet-sized Denny's?
Mm-hmm.
And then we turned it into
not like
Cosmic Ovum, and the pilots were called shift managers because the process of using your faith to fuel the mechs was called shifting.
Yeah,
but that's the fucking thing. So
that's how it goes. No, you make the bit and you lean into it, and then you keep on it and you hammer on it, and
then it comes out the other side, and it's not a bit anymore.
Right, it's not a joke anymore.
Yeah, exactly. But the game has had like very powerful moments in the ongoing playtest that we've had. Just the week before last week, we had a moment that had multiple players like genuinely crying. And we can maybe get more into that later, but yeah, it's a powerful game. It's a really good game. And that was the lore for the domain.
Mm-hmm.
Every question is an important question, even the silly ones that I think of during the podcast.
Yes.
So, just diving in randomly about the game.
Finally.
Yeah, finally. Let's listen. It's been 25 minutes.
You know what?
Finally,
I'm super excited to get like a random question. This has been way too clear and organized so far. So I'm just let's just get out there, right? Let's shake
it the space.
I'm gonna jump out of my window.
I'm sorry. I'm going crazy mode today. What, Matt, my dear friend, what do you have for us?
So as I mentioned, I was reading through the Dragon Reactor quick start / demo / preview / whatever you want to call it. And one of the things that immediately stuck out to me as just a thing that's exciting, I'm starting to see more in TTRPGs, is character creation that doesn't solely create my character. So in Dragon Reactor, going through, you create your character and then you also create your rival. And the thing that I loved is like you have your kind of unique description as to what your dragon is, and then your rival has a unique description, and it's almost two character sheets. And I love the idea of, one, the process of creating a character is very simple, at least as far as the quick start goes. And then you're immediately like, okay, here's my little guy. I love him. He's great. He pilots a weird mecha brontosaurus. That's great. I'm going to make somebody to fuck him up. And that's great. Yeah. I love that.
It's great.
Like, I love the immediate twist of the energy of like, all right, who's the guy that hates my guts? What's he about?
It's really, really fun when we realize, like, that was something that came on early on. I do just also want to say, in the demo, it is like playbook style, like here's your rival dedicated. In the full game, you can mix and match any of them. We have a number of archetypes that are not in the demo. We have a number of rival types that aren't in the demo. The only thing that there is all of in the demo is the dragon frames, because we only made 4, and that's all you need.
All you need.
But we had a lot of fun for the demo, being like, all right, what are the pilots that we want here, and why do we want them, and what rivals best bring out that energy? And I think we paired up some really, really good ones, and I have to give compliments to Jam, who did the layout for the demo. She did a phenomenal job of pairing them up and making them fit like well together. The layout plays really well, and it leans into those themes too. She also went and like immediately started crafting up her own, and it's got us we have ideas for things that we want to add to the game post-release. Little expansions, stuff like that play with these ideas more. Last thing is, you don't actually have to create the game. You don't have to create a rival at the jump. You can make your pilot and then pick some enemy that you meet during a fight and say, they're my rival now. They're a fully fledged character. Let's get to know them and hate them and love them.
Yeah, because in the playtest campaign, I've been a player, and I elected to not have a rival, and actually, I still don't have a rival. Mostly
Like
just because,
5 sessions in,
at least, and part of that is just like, I think rivals are really cool, but I really like the rivals that the other players had, and put simply, it just didn't feel right. I didn't feel the need for one for my character just yet. But I think after last session, I've started to get a little bit closer, and I'm like, I think it's going to be time soon, and so what's really nice about this is, I think, not just that the process of making a rival is very fun and enjoyable, and you get a Blorbo, everybody loves a new Blorbo, but that it's just not prescriptive. And again, this is another thing that I think Nova and I both care about in our games, is like, we want you to know what these parts of the game are for, and then if it's something that you can interact with in your own way, at your own pace, here's how you can do that. We're just going to give you this choice. We're going to give you the switch to flip. It's a, lever to pull, whatever your phrasing of it wants to be. If it's something that it makes sense for it to be in your control to improve your enjoyment, that is something that we care about.
Yeah. Huge.
What? See, that lines up with some other things that makes me really curious. What is kind of your expected, or I guess intended, maybe, like, length of, big air quotes, a campaign?
Oh, buddy.
Yeah,
buddy.
I feel like if this was a cartoon, I feel like if you animated the question I just asked, it's me, like, outside a little cabin, like, I wonder what's inside this cabin. And then, like, as I'm opening the door, there's like a spring and a lever and a pulley, and like I've activated some sort of secret double combo trap.
We thought about this a lot, and we have refined it. Turns out not a lot, because we didn't need to. We got it on the first try, basically.
We really did. It just formed like Athena.
Genuinely, one of the first questions we had during our first development meeting was like, what is the scope? How long are people going to play this game? How long is a campaign? How do we want to treat this? And we looked to, the inspiration stories. We looked at Gundam. We looked at Armored Core. We looked at all of that again. We said, what is the one thing that every single one of these stories has in common? And it is something very, very, very bad happens that completely changes the story. A campaign of Dragon Reactor lasts until the doom clock fills and the worst thing you and your table can imagine comes to pass. At the start of the game...
It's a great way to end it, honestly.
After you have made your characters and your factions and all that stuff, one of the last things you do before actually getting into a fight in your big robots is you define doom. And that is, there's a few different ways that you can treat it. We've seen people treat it as like, what is the worst thing that can happen for my faction versus what is the worst thing, objectively speaking, that can happen for our universe. And they can range from, okay, well, my hometown is going to get razed. Or like, I think one of the examples is we all get kicked out of school. But on the far end of that, we have things like the Forever War starts over, the Empire wins, or the universe just gets destroyed.
That's
and
definitely up there.
It is a 10-step clock, and you cannot wind it down.
Yep.
It ticks up when bad things happen, like when a character dies. Which reminds me, our playtest campaign is currently at 5 out of 10 ticks. And it's when what we kind of twisted on this is like, people are going to want to keep playing. When Doom comes to pass, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to stop playing, but it means that your season has ended. You need to take a break, put those characters down, come back in like a month, and talk about it. Are we going to pick up this story? Are we going to pick up these characters, this universe, after a time jump, immediately? What are we doing? But the point is, that campaign is done, officially. You're going on to Season 2 if you're playing this more.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that. I a big thing thinking about a lot, and listen, I try not to shit on D&D in this podcast. Sometimes it comes up, right?
We should always be shitting on D&D. I don't think that's
I just try not to make it an active part of the podcast. Like I do it in my day-to-day. I just try to not make it
sure, okay, that's fine. I can understand. You got to keep work and pleasure separate.
Exactly.
But one of the things that, like, in thinking about it, one of the things that, you know, I wonder about, like, okay, like, you know, people playing indie games versus D&D and whatever. One of the things that's kind of struck me is the way that D&D doesn't provide you any sort of campaign session length guidance. When do you know when you've succeeded? When do you know when you're done? And all of this.
Yeah.
And it's been really exciting digging into all kinds of different games, seeing all of the different ways that games either implicitly or explicitly have ending markers.
Right. So this is a really, really good point to talk about in general that does relate to Dragon Reactor specifically because what is Doom, right? What is the Doom clock? Why is it here? It is here as a pacing tool because when you want to talk about art, any kind of art that takes place over a length of time, right, as opposed to, say, a painting which exists in a single point in time. If we're talking about art that has a temporal angle to it, pacing is everything, right? And so if you want your game to function, you need to be thinking about the pacing not only on a single session basis. How do I pace this session? How do I lead in? How long does a combat encounter take? How long does this downtime scene take, right? All of that stuff. That's pacing, sure. But you also need that sense of the longer term pacing if it's anything besides a one-shot. And so Doom is really explicitly a pacing device. It enables us to have to identify what the strengths of this game are, right? And to be like, what is the framework in which they shine the brightest? It is in this size of campaign, and we can leverage that both thematically, and then we can also leverage that to be like, oh, you're maybe playing a campaign that's a tiny bit, like, it feels like it's been cut short, and then you want to play more. So it has these natural stop-start points, season finales, and then you start a new one. So, yeah, so just like that, the fact that you're thinking about that, that's great to me, because that is the sort of thing that the Doom Clock is supposed to make you think about. How am I pacing this? How quickly do I expect Doom to come in? As the poet, which is the title for the GM role in this game, as the poet, how should I be planning and preparing, to whatever degree I want, this isn't really a high prep game, around the Doom Clock? And as the Doom Clock advances, what does that mean for what happens in the next session, or the session after that? I yapped a bit there. Nova, did you have anything to add?
Yeah, what I kind of want to add, a number of things. One, first, I want to say that we're not the first people to do something like this in a game. Merkborg is the one that comes to mind, where it tells you, when this final prophecy comes to pass, burn this book. Extremely hardcore, extremely sick. But it's a low prep game, to the point where, Quinn, I haven't done any prep for a single one of the sessions that we've played.
I didn't expect you had.
Every single session that we have run is completely improvised. Like, one of the great things is that at the end of a session, you figure out what the next fight is going to be. You figure out the next mission, because this phase-based game, the core of it is conflict. It's combat. You are fighting every session, and then you have a little bit of downtime. So when you're done, you figure out, like, okay, what's our next mission? What are we doing next session? Where do we want the story to go? And you decide that as a table, and you steer it in that direction. And we haven't done it for, like, the last couple, just because people have, like, been kind of coming and going from the campaign. A lot of stuff is happening in the story. Yeah. But it's a perfect con game, honestly.
Oh,
you can pick it up, play it in 3 or 4 hours, and walk away from it thinking about, wow, hey, that was fucking sick. I love big robots. Cool. And I'm sad now, too.
Yeah, item 1, item 2. The other cool thing The other cool thing about the game that kind of rolls into all of this is the way that we have organized the game into its phases, and more specifically, that these phases are actually very regimented as far as a game goes, right? Because when you think about games that have an uptime downtime structure, right? Generally speaking, the downtime structure, well, that's a little bit more, that's a little bit more prescriptive. But when you're out on a score or something, or you're doing like free time, there's free play, you have a lot of room to explore and check out this corner of things and follow this side quest. Dragon Reactor is laser focused. There are 3 phases of the game. There's conflict, in which you have a goddamn conflict. There's aftermath, in which you kind of explore the immediate ramifications of that conflict. And then there is the countdown. That's not downtime, that's countdown. You are spending this time recovering from the last conflict and preparing for the next one, and you have no idea if that next one is going to come in like a couple of days or in 20 minutes, and so this is not a game where you have all of this extra room to just kind of faff about. There's no faffing about here. Every single thing that happens is on the timeline, and that gives it a real sense of intention. It gives a real sense of this is like a TV show. Every scene that's here is building toward creating the right tone, creating the right atmosphere, and continuing the pacing properly. For a given value of properly.
I don't want that to intimidate people. I don't want people like, oh, if every scene matters, I have to think super hard about everything that I do. You really don't.
No.
The rules are there. They guide you. It's genuinely a very smooth experience. We have had multiple people who have zero experience with the genre. Our developmental editor, Sam Lee, she has no real experience with mecha or mech stuff. But like went in not really knowing what to expect during the playtest and came out of it going, oh, I understand this genre now. I understand what's going on here. And we've also got people who, Jam, when she was doing the layout for it, she was like, oh, I understand what this game is doing. I'm not intimidated to play this game. I really want to play this game, even though like the mech genre is not something that I care too much about. So it can sound very intimidating to be like every session matters or every scene matters and is laser focused.
Yeah.
But it guides you to the game does the work is the thing.
Yes, that's exactly the way that I would. Yeah.
If you've got your Blorbo and they've got their Blorbo, you're in a scene, something's going to happen and you do not need to stress about it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And so this is the thing of like a thought that I've been having, and I think is kind of maybe percolating in the TTRPG scene a bit, is that I truly believe that a system is just prep. It's just game prep that someone else has done for you. Right? I know. It's hot button. It's hot button, but listen.
Oh no.
No, come on.
That sounds reminiscent of a circular shaped equine. I don't know about.
No, listen. All I'm saying is that the game has built it so that as you play, this stuff just happens on its own. You truly do not, as Nova said, you do not have to think very hard. You do not have to try very hard. You do not have to be priorly familiar with these character archetypes or with these genre tropes. They will happen naturally. I need you to understand. When we played with Sam, as we said, not familiar. When we were playing with Sam independently invented several like mech abilities and cool mech things that we all know and love from anime or whatever, having never seen any of the source material, right? And so in the same way that Sam naturally happened upon cool things mechs can do, you playing it will naturally happen upon the kinds of moments and feelings and characters that make this genre move. You don't have to fret. You just play the game and it happens.
Give me two. Give me two.
Two what?
Give me 2 cool things that Sam came up with. Give me 2 of them.
I think ankle jets, right?
Yeah, ankle jets was one of them.
Hell yeah!
Not just ankle jets. It was Sam described. It wasn't ankle jets. Sam described. I'm gonna punch this thing really hard, and I want like a jet booster to come out of the side of my arm to help me punch harder. And you're like, yeah,
Hell
cool.
Yeah.
That's sick. That's sick.
Hell yeah.
And their rival also was a very, very common mech trope of the dude who loves to fight so hard and will get in your way and do it with a big weapon. And I do think at one point, Sam basically whole cloth described an Atano circus without knowing what that was.
Yes.
I don't know what that is.
It's that cool thing in mech anime where all the missiles come out at once and like you get a really
leave the cool trails.
Yeah, gorgeously animated shot of all the missiles and stuff. Yeah.
It's the best shit that mech anime gave us.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. I was very curious. I was like, did Sam Lee independently invent a char? Because that'd be really funny.
No, but we've had other people do it. Well, I mean, I guess we can't say that it's independently inventing a char, because one of the rival types, of course, is the noble, and it's just char aznable.
Right. It's car aznable, and it's like they'll put an H. It'll happen. It's fine.
Yeah,
we know what'll happen.
It's that's triple vagino.
I hated what you just said.
I don't know what you just said, and I also hated it.
Quattro vagina.
Yeah.
He's the one.
Does that make more sense to you, Matt?
Does that make more
sense?
I
know who Quattro vagina is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what the curse you said. You just killed my crop for 3 generations. I don't know what just happened.
This isn't Realis. You're fine.
This is gonna be. Don't listen. Aaron just.
I won't listen.
Aaron just put out a video on Realis that I'm very excited to watch tomorrow.
I'm very excited to watch it. Yeah.
So, getting back to the question about pacing and all of this, reading through, I was getting the vibe that I'm going to admit somehow I missed the whole section on the Doom clock. I don't know.
It's not in the demo.
Oh, well, that explains it. I was getting the vibe where I'm like, this game feels like it has a very specific amount of time that it intends for your character to exist. And during that time, you are doing the coolest, raddest bullshit you can possibly imagine until narratively you cannot anymore. Mechanically you can, and then at a certain point narratively you simply will not.
I think that's mostly true. So was there more? I'm ready.
We're
chomping at the fucking bit here.
I do love halfway when I'm halfway through a question and both of you are like, yeah, come on. And the thing that stuck out at me is so again, we were talking about pacing. I love games that have moments where your character fundamentally changes, whether that's dies, whether that's leaves your control, whether that's leaves play, whatever number of things. And in Dragon Reactor, there are what I'm going to call the once moves that I immediately fell in love with, because I love for people who don't know, if you haven't read the demo, first of all, go read the demo. You should read the demo. There's this character sheet. There's just a little spot in your character sheet that just says once and then describes some ridiculous shit. I think it's called the transformed. It's just like, yeah, you merge with your dragon forever. And it's just like, well, that's bananas. That's just a thing. Okay, cool. That's just that now. And a lot of other characters are a similar descriptor that then implies that you die, but maybe also doesn't, but maybe also does, in a way that's like, damn, I love this idea of just like, combat's going real bad. You know what I got to do? I got to do it to him. I gotta sing the song of the death nail, and we're gonna win. But I'm gonna
so many things that we can talk about here. Especially like I want to talk about the last playtest session. I feel like that's incredibly important to this conversation.
Yeah.
The once moves are something that actually was like, we refined this so much. We had some version of this in the very, very first rendition of the game, and then we took it out. And then we were like, well, now everything's missing something. So we put it back in, and we're like, well, we don't like how any of these work. So we just like sat with them. And we spent an entire... We've been working on this game in 2-hour chunks once a week. We spent an entire like Sunday dev session looking at these and going, what is one of these that we like? And we didn't like fucking any of them. And we tore them all out and we said, why don't we like these? We figured out why we didn't like them. And then we were like, oh, I fucking got it. It's this. It needs to be worthwhile. It needs to be huge and impactful. And then we came up with a new pass of them, which is not the pass that's in the game right now because we did 3 more passes on it. And I'm so happy with where we ended on the once moves. The way that these work
so cool.
is every pilot, every dragon silhouette, and every rival have a fully unique once move. It is a thing that they can... Rivals have onces.
They have a once per session, right?
They have a once per session. Right,
they don't have a
rivals
once
have
ever.
a once per session because they're rivals. Yeah. They have some variation of once. And they add so much flavor to the archetypes that they're tied to, as well as they just give the player power. You don't have to roll dice for this. Just fucking do it. And they don't inherently, unless it says so, they don't inherently mean that your pilot dies or your dragon is destroyed or anything like that.
Sometimes they do, but
sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't say that, and it just feels right, and it's just what you at the table decide is going to happen. Other times you do your once move and you roll on the disaster table with 2 extra dice, and it says that your character dies.
Well, that's just how it goes.
To talk about just like I haven't stopped thinking about our last playtest session. We've been playing with this group for a while, and I did check. We've done 5 sessions. The doom clock has clicked up 4 times, and each one of those is a pilot death.
That seems very specific.
It's not actually. 3 of them are pilot deaths. One of them was a dragon destruction.
Right.
So first session, Kevin Wynn, good friend, great designer, did Volley Boys and Bros at Gated Dock. Kevin's character dies in the first session. The second session, nobody dies. The third session, Kevin's second character dies. The fourth session, Emma's mech gets destroyed, and the 5th session, the one that we had last week, Magdalene's character sacrifices themselves to completely just win the entire conflict, bypassing every single challenge. Things were going bad, and everything bad that I was throwing at the players was because of results of their die rolls. It was the worst die rolls that they have had in a session so far, and we are talking multiple squads of enemies out and about. We're talking a big giant mech, like Colossus sized, really just standing in the way. And then they have to roll on the disaster table, and the enemy gets to reveal a super weapon. And it turns out that the base that the players are trying to capture is just a big fucking bomb, actually. And Mag said, all right, I'm going to use my once move to destroy everything. And we took a step back, and I let Mag know, like, hey, you don't have to roll dice. Don't talk to me about your character sheet anymore. You've said you want to do this. Here's what that means. Let's talk about what you want to do, and we'll figure out what it means. And they won the conflict. Veer tragically sacrificed themselves, and the rest of the session was a very, very sad, like, funeral. And it was very emotional, and everybody was crying, and it was an incredible time. And, like, we're not going to change the once moves anymore because they're fucking perfect now.
Yeah.
It's funny that the games that feel like on a passing glance, the games that feel like they treat the lives of the player characters so cheaply, and it feels like they would spend it so cheaply, are the ones that usually end up having the most, like, the tightest hold on them. It's like, oh, you died in the first session, like, oh, that sucks, whatever. In so many other games, not even just like indie TTRPGs, like even some indie TTRPGs, like, oh, whatever, just make a new character, doesn't matter. But the small handful of games that are just like, oh yeah, whatever, throw your character, it's your character died, have such an impact. It means a big deal when it does happen because it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. It is. Yeah. I would call it not quite an inevitability in Dragon Reactor.
That it's entirely possible
that specifically your character dies. It is inevitable that multiple pilots will die throughout a campaign. It is built into the mechanics. It can happen to pretty much anyone at pretty much any time. But it's not guaranteed to happen every session. Our players just drive like bats out of hell.
Yeah. It's also worth noting. It is worth noting that, like, this isn't the kind of game where players ever die out of GM fiat or
the player. Me, I have a gun.
How many players have died during your playtests?
I have not killed any players.
Answer. No, but it's not the kind of game where characters, like, they run out of health and then they just die because they got shot by a big gun. It is what happens when you run out of a resource of some kind is you have to roll on the disaster table, and there's a lot of bad shit in there, and only some of it is your pilot dying, right? So it is entirely possible, technically, to play an entire game of this without a single pilot dying. It's not likely, but it's possible, right? And so it's this thing of, like, when you're about to roll in the disaster table and you're looking at these entries and you're shaking that D6 in your hand and you're like, oh fuck, and then you roll and then shit, I guess I'm dead, or my dragon's gone, or some really bad thing has just happened to you, and I think that really, the fact that it never occurs as a result of a decision that's not your own, that means a lot to the weight of these bad things.
I fully agree with that. And to make sure that the listener who has not yet read the Dragon Reactor demo that can be found for free at bytes.rip/dreamsdemo, the way that the disaster table works is, so pilots essentially have 3 health pools that each have 4 slots in them. You can take 4 times 3 damage. Do the math yourself. I designed the game. I don't need to. Anytime one of those tracks fills up for a pilot, they roll on the disaster table with 1d6 for each track that is filled up across the entire party. So it's not just my health that I need to care about. It's Quinn's and it's Matt's. There are 20 results on the disaster table in the full game. I think 4 of them are your pilot dies. Another 4 are your dragon is destroyed or wrecked, and asks the question if your pilot dies too. And they get worse as you go up. So it very quickly snowballs. And of course, these results can only happen once per individual conflict, not once per campaign.
Yep.
So if you have a really bad conflict and bad shit is going to happen, and the next time, guess what? It can happen again. Which is great. If you do roll something twice, the doom clock takes up instead.
And I mean, like, and that's fine. The thing is that
that's a later problem.
Yeah, so the thing is that I think it's very possible for this campaign to just go very, very tragically and to just spiral downward. But it's also, this is where the countdown procedures come in, because countdown makes it very, very interesting to see how much you get to recover, because it's inconsistent, the amount of recovery that you can manage in between conflicts. It's designed to be very, very swingy. And so sometimes you might have a really bad conflict, and then guess what? You're right back in it, buddy. They're at your door. Knock, knock, motherfucker.
That's what happened. That's what happened last session. The way specifically, mechanically, Quinn, do you want to describe mechanically how Countdown works?
Yeah, so basically, at the start of Countdown, you build a pool of D6s based on a few different criteria, and then you roll all of them at the beginning of each action that you take, right? And based on the results, you remove some of those D6s from the pool if they roll too low. And so, and if the pool runs all the way out, then that's when the next conflict happens, right? And so what happened last time is conflict ended. We had the funeral, because after a pilot dies, the first thing that happens is you have a funeral, but it still takes time. That's not for free. And I think, did we get one recovery action in, and the pool was empty, and knock.
Number two, it was two. We had two recovery. We had one, because it was the funeral.
Yeah, the funeral, and then one recovery, and it's like, shit, dude, we're back in it.
And it was
that's
time.
That's so genre to be like, okay, well, we have to spend time for the funeral. We can't, or that you don't.
It does swing the other way too, where in a previous Countdown session, I got we had three or two or three dice remaining, and we kept those for 5 actions in a row.
We very quickly got down to 3 dice, and then we just kept rolling. Everybody got to fully recover. Some people got to take character advancements. It was great. And I want to make it clear, this is intentionally designed this way. This is how it is intended to work. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. We knew going in that we did not want to just do another downtime. We were every fucking mech game has a downtime where every player has 2 or 3 actions to choose from, and you get to do all of them. And there is nothing wrong with that. It works great. And those games do it really well. Armor Stir's downtime is fucking awesome. I love how it works. I love Blade's downtime, all of that.
Yeah.
We wanted to make sure we did something different that played with the genre in a different way. And I think we fucking did it.
Yeah, the little tagline or whatever in the Countdown section of the full book is, this is not your time to use as you see fit. This is war's time, and you're just borrowing it. Because basically the thing that we wanted to be different about this downtime is this is why it's called Countdown. We knew this was a very early thing. This was decided in the first couple of meetings, which is we knew that we needed downtime you needed to feel the pressure. You needed to know that war was bigger than you, and you can't just do what you want, right? You have to think about what's coming and prioritize for that. Your life doesn't belong to you right now. There's a goddamn war on, right? And so that is the core concept behind Countdown working the way that it does. And we definitely went through a number of iterations of Countdown, and then we settled on this depleting pool thing. It's so much fun. It's so
really, really
so
fun.
much fun.
It's really, really, really fun.
I like your comments, Nova, about these other games did it great and we wanted to do it different. And that's I think that's the point of making a new game a lot of times, right? You wanted to do something.
Yeah.
And if anything else, if anything can be said about this game in general, it is that this wanted to present mech fiction and mech conflict and mech drama through a very specific lens with a very specific tint, and like you said, it is the Armored Core version and sort of the early UC Gundam version, more than it is, kind of a later Gundam, not in a disparaging way, but in a way that the later Gundam shows show conflict and then have the space for the drama and then show conflict, where opposed to the earlier seasons and, you know, Armored Core games are more specifically the conflict is the drama.
As far as like Gundam goes,
it's almost as if the conflict is a character too.
It's almost like,
wait, so you're saying that war is a character?
You're saying that the city of New York is a character?
No, but I was about to make the exact same fucking joke. Fuck you.
I don't know who this 20s New Yorker guy is that loves TTRPGs, but I love it. I love this guy.
We love him.
I love playing Blaze in the Dark with my friends.
I never know what's going on. I ask all these questions, but I love fucking TTRPGs, man.
Vinny, listen, it's a tabletop RPG, right?
Why am I going to stand on my table? It's nice. It's redwood.
No, Vinny, that's not what I'm saying at all.
This is the bad podcast that we have to pitch.
There it is. Yeah, this is it.
We got it.
We found
it. Vinny and Ronnie played Dragon Reactor. So, as far as Gundams go, specifically, there are two Gundam shows that stand head and shoulders above the rest in terms of what they brought to Dragon Reactor, and that is Iron-Blooded Orphans. There is, if you've seen Iron-Blooded Orphans and you read this game, you're going to be going, yep, the whole time.
One of my friends who I've been trying to get to watch IBO for years finally started watching it and got to a specific moment in season 2 and goes, "Oh, I get it."
Yeah. And then the other one is the original 0079, which I really like. I really strongly recommend it. If anyone listening is like kind of into mechs but hasn't checked out the original, fucking watch it, because it does more than you think it does and better than you think it does.
There's so much in. So when we first sat down, one of the first things we did was we wrote up touchstones, and we were like, we kind of just put Gundam on the list and then like every other thing that we mentioned. And I made a point to pull us back and be like, which one? And not only that, but for each of these touchstones, why is this here? What do we want? What is our guiding light? Because this list of touchstones is not going to be in the final game. But we need to have it at the top of our document, and we need to know why it is there. And we batted around a few different ideas for IBO was obvious. That we had no hesitation for that. But when it came to like some of the older stuff, we very, very happily settled on the original, because nothing does it like that. But also for me, there's like 4 very specific moments in the latter half of that show that I am always thinking about. Not even just when I'm talking about mechs, but literally all the time. That I don't think people talk about enough. Yeah. But for anybody who hasn't seen it, I'm not going to spoil them. But there's some really good shit in that show.
Yeah, I'll say also, if we're talking about specifically what we got from 0079.
I thought Quinn was going to spoil it. I was like, I'll spoil it.
I'll spoil it, motherfucker. You think I won't? No, I have no idea. I'm not sure which moment specifically I was talking about. But I think one thing that really that I liked about 0079 is the way that it feels like a war story, in that it is following a group of people in the context of a wider war that is happening around them, that sometimes they're a part of, and sometimes is not directly in shot. You know what I mean? And that feels, I mean, obviously it does, but it feels a lot more like how classic war stories used to be. Like, these are what a story about World War II, this is how it was framed, because war is not all-consuming. It consumes your life, but it doesn't consume every minute of your life. Does that make sense? When you're at war, the war is always there, but it's not always right in front of you. And that was something that really stuck with me about 0079, was those moments that were just moments where the war was coming for them, but it wasn't there yet.
There's an entire arc of 0079 that is flavored by the fact that they don't have salt. And
that's the one I was talking about. That's the fucking one.
You spoiled it.
That one, like, it's such a minor thing. It's such like a minor background detail, but it flavors literally everything.
Salt, yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
That was the stupidest thing, and that's saying something.
What's your next question, Matt? I'm ready to move on.
No, I think we can sit on the salt thing a little bit. No,
I'm going to disconnect from the call and fuck up the recording.
No.
I won't do that.
Please don't.
I deserve this. I deserve what just happened to me. I do. I recognize that. Quinn, shut up.
Valid.
Let's stay on touchstones. So, Gundam, obviously, Armored Core. I don't think you need to explain Armored Core. I feel like if you've engaged with, God bless Armored Core 6 coming out and making a really accessible thing that you can just say, like, just go buy and play that game. It's not like a weird thing you have to do anymore. It's a thing you can just go buy now. And keeping all of the same themes in a really clean way that it's just like, yeah, Armored Core, just go play that, and that's great. What's the weirdest touchstone? Like, what's the one that sits out and is like, well, hang on now.
I don't think that there's anything that sticks out like a sore thumb because it's like, why is this here? Because everything is there very, very intentionally. Whereas like Gun and Slinger had some weird fucking touchstones for it. But I think that when you look at the list together, I think it is probably either The Expanse, because it's the one that's not about big robots specifically, or it's Escaflowne, because it is such a different take on the story. It's a more personal, more directed one. It's still a war story and it's still a tragedy, but it's like not your traditional big robots. And I think that it's also, I'll be honest, it's less known than all of our other touchstones. I think Escaflowne is the least known of what we have on that list.
Yeah, you don't hear anybody talk about Escaflowne anymore.
They should be.
Not enough, anyway. Yeah.
They should be. It's peak. It's great.
I have a sincerely weird answer to that question. The answer is 0079 again. Because
listening.
Because despite the fact that people, you're making a mech game, obviously you're like, yeah, I'm pulling from Gundam. But how many mech games actually have weird new type shit in them?
We do be having weird new type shit. We do have that.
And so that's the thing. Like 0079, at the very least, to my knowledge, is not like, you don't see the utter pure 1979 weirdness of sci-fi ported over into modern takes on the mech genre very much. Sci-fi used to be very psychedelic. It used to have a lot of surreality and hyperreality and weird mindfuck shit, and that's not as prevalent, at least in the stuff that I'm familiar with. I'm sure there's a bunch of people listening right now who are like, "Shut the fuck up!" But listen, all I'm saying is that this is something that was very present in the original 79 that we have fully maintained and made manifest in Dragon Reactor.
One of our guiding posts was how genuinely every session that we went, we would look at something or how can we make this weirder? How can we make this stranger? And when we cracked the code on refrains, when we figured out what we wanted to do for our new type stuff, it kind of just unraveled the entire game in a very, very pleasing way. And I do have to give credit. Refrains are, when you boil them down, they are the whispers from Wild Sea. The way that they work are your character has a phrase that is essentially a word of power that you can use to make something happen. And there are special types of refrains that come from your archetype that grow and change over time. We've got a little Realis in there with that. But at their core, they are things that define you or define recent events and how you relate to them. And you can deploy them in a conflict to just make something happen.
Yeah. Here's a good example.
The poet gets refrains too.
Yes. And this is also, we didn't start out calling the GM the poet. That's actually a relatively recent change. But as the game became weirder and more lyrical, it's not a lyric game, but it is a lyrical game in some ways. And then we were like, I think it started as the handler. And then we were like, this game is too weird now for that to be the GM role. It's too metaphorical for something
we
wanted
to lean more into the poetry, and we wanted to lean more into the storytelling and the myth of it all. So we were like, oh, okay, this is a poet. They're a poet,
literally.
And it rhymes well with pilot.
Yeah. I also wanted to talking about a piece of the game that came from kind of an unexpected source. The core engine for making challenges and checks in combat, the magnitude engine, this is very directly adapted from, with just a couple of tweaks, from Errant, the OSR game by Ava Islam. It is a really, really cool dungeon crawler. It does a lot of interesting things. It has a fuck ton of procedures, and one of the procedures in that game that has always spoken to me very much is the magic system for the archetype called the Zealot. Basically, you are connected to a deity, and when you want to invoke their power, you have to roll, and these rolls are fucking punishing, man. Oh my god, they're so rough. But the way that it works is it's this tiered system, and essentially, the more you're willing to risk, the more you can get out of it. And I saw this system, and what I liked about it was that sense of increasing risk, and especially the kind of what's that, logarithmic, the exponential. Yeah, the exponential rate at which the stakes and risks increased with each other. So that's where the basic structure of our check, our basic engine, comes from. So if you guys are interested in that kind of thing, definitely check out Errant. It's a really cool game, really, really well designed. One of the classics of modern OSR, without a doubt.
I'm very, very happy with how we were able to adapt and utilize magnitude. I remember at first when we were still figuring things out and testing the game, we were like, oh, I don't really know. We knew that we wanted it, but we didn't know how exactly it would come into play, and we had some trouble getting the numbers right at first. But we eventually landed on what we have now, which is, it just works great, and it's relatively smooth, and we didn't just, like everything in the game, we didn't just lift it from another game whole cloth. We took it and we're having a conversation with all of our inspirations, and that includes the game design that we are inspired from in this. We're having a conversation with magnitudes and whispers and downtime and player characters in general, and we needed it. We made a very supple dough with the magnitude system, and it baked into a wonderful loaf of bread that we seasoned with our tiered success systems and our oops, you're gonna fucking die now. Yeah. And we made sure to streamline things in such a way that it's a little bit of a procedure, but once you know what's going on, it's super straightforward. It's really easy to figure out your outcomes. The shit just cooks.
I think it's not only super straightforward and fun at the table, but I think it's hackable as fuck.
Yeah, I've already there's things in here. Yeah, Quinn and I have ideas for a lot of changes that we're gonna make.
Yeah, and especially because the thing that makes the engine work is that it is straightforward and it is smooth, but it also has heft to it, right? It is not like a PBTA, roll 2d6, see what happens, right? There's a little bit more dice pool building, and then on the back end, a little bit more pick listing. But this is actually a good thing, because as we've said, these dragons are supposed to be things of great power. And let me tell you, you feel that weight when you roll in this game. You feel the lead up and you feel the follow through, right? And I think that if we had come up with some other system or used some other engine that required less investment, it would not be as satisfying at all.
Wouldn't hit the same. Wouldn't hit the same.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hit. Well, no, it'd be different.
It would still hit because we're great at what we
make
do.
a really good game. It just would be a really good game.
Yeah.
Listen, you got to talk up your shit. I love it. I was having a conversation, a small conversation with former guest Anna Hollenrake on Blue Sky. She did a little TikTok about how like you have to be annoying and you have to be in people's faces for your stuff and you have to talk up your stuff and you have to be your first biggest fan and then other people will be your biggest fan and that's how that goes. And I love it. Talk up shit. Make a good game. I feel like it is so important for creatives, especially now. There are so many fake ass people doing so many fake ass things that if you're sitting here and you're making a game and you're like, well, I'm not a game designer. No, fuck you. Like, do you know how many there are 25-year-old snot-nosed assholes running around our government right now, sticking their dicks in all of our private information.
Yeah.
Your TTRPG is amazing and you're incredible and you have cool shit. Like you're
damn fucking right.
A thing that comes up so much during this podcast, I've said it literally fucking episode, and I feel like people are getting sick of it, but I feel like I have to say it every episode, is so much positivity comes from within that like people need to be positive about their stuff, about other people's stuff, and like cringe, fuck that. I've always hated cringe. I have never like jived with that as a concept. I think it's just another way to call people the R slur. That's me. And so I've never been down with like people that are like, oh, that's cringe. No, fuck you. Fuck you. You know who's cringe? You, for leaving this weird comment on somebody's video where they practiced this dance for 3 months and fucking crushed it. What did you do during those 3 months? You left fucking TikTok comments. Fuck yourself.
I'll say this, which is that I would never say that any particular game is the best blank game, but I will say it's the best blank game for me. And I usually set out to design games that are the best kind of that game for me. And me and Nova did it. We did that. I have played other mech games. I've read plenty of other mech games, and they all hit certain things, but none of them hit what I wanted. This game does. To me, this is my best mech game. This is the best mech game I can make, and for me, it's the best mech game I can play. And we have had other players echo that sentiment, right? So I'm not saying that this will tear you away from Lancer. You'll never play Lancer again. Throw it in the chat, Yeah. But
I'll tear you away from Lancer, but that's like neither there. I love Lancer. It's great.
It's so cool. It's so cool. But maybe if you're like me and you were playing Lancer and you're like, man, I really like a lot of this, but I just want something that's a little bit heavier and weirder and a little less fiddly and
I think it really says something that Quinn just said. Dragon Reactor is weirder than Lancer.
Lancer weird?
Yes.
Mechanically speaking, Lancer is not that weird. Mechanically speaking, Lancer is a 4th edition D&D mech game. If I'm being very pejorative here.
I don't even think that's pejorative. I think that's what it is.
I think that's a very apt description.
4E is also self-admittedly by the designer like the key inspiration for the game.
Yeah.
The things in the book are weird.
Yeah. I think Lancer is
it's
weird.
450 pages of weird shit.
Lancer is weird as soon as you get past like the rules chapter, which you know.
Yeah, but the rules are the thing I want to be weird.
Yeah, the rules are the thing in Dragon Reactor that are weird. So that's what we've got.
Listen,
exactly. The weird rules.
The fact that I had to ask you if the dragon was actually a mech or a dragon or like a hybrid,
And the answer to that was, I don't know, what do you want?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I don't know, man.
What do you want for dinner?
I'd love to play a game that was like, that like, what would be awesome? Sorry. But this would be so fun.
Put the design thoughts in the back of the head, Quinn. I'm gonna die.
It's not a design. This isn't a design. This is just like a game of Dragon Reactor you could play. Is like really leaning into like the 70s weird science fantasy where you are just flying real dragons around in space and like fuck the no air thing. You don't have helmets. You don't have armor. You're just flying dragons in space and it's goddamn fine.
Yeah.
Like in that Jimmy Neutron movie.
You could just wow. Sorry.
You ever notice they didn't have helmets on? They didn't.
Holy shit! Space. I was gonna say like basically just take heavy metal and make it a mech story.
Yeah,
sure, yeah.
You can just do that.
Yeah, you can fucking do it, right? And I don't know. It's
good. It's good.
It's fun.
It's
man.
good.
It's fun.
The game's good. bytes.rip/streams.
Yeah.
That's 4. I think I think like getting to like being about your own shit. I think like I made the best blank for me should be everyone's first intention with designing whatever, right? Like whatever you're doing, the end result in some way, shape, or form should be the best whatever for you. You know, hey, maybe it needs an iteration. Maybe it's not 100%. Maybe it it's not done. In the way that we've been talking about games not being done. But it's like this is in some way, shape, or form. This is in the direction. This is in conversation with what I want this to be.
I think generally speaking, yeah, I agree with you. I also think people should just make bad games.
Yeah.
I firmly believe you do not need to make the best anything for anybody. When I started designing games, I released 10 games within 4 weeks. You do not need to spend. They're great, but they're also bad games. They're bad games. I don't like some of the first games that I designed. I don't like a lot of the first games that I designed. I know where I was. I know who I was back then.
Yeah.
But they're just. I think they're kind of bad. You don't need to make something that's good. You don't need to spend 3.5 years with a co-designer leading up to a crowdfunding campaign on August 1st, 2025 in order to make something.
So
you don't
specific.
Need to do that. Yeah, I know. It's just like, in case anybody else has that date, you might be picking it. Don't. That's us.
That's mine. I'll come for you.
You want to know what my first attempt at game design was? Like, it didn't get very far for obvious reasons, but it was, it was basically PBTA GURPS. I was like, I can create a modular everything game. The only problem with GURPS is that it doesn't have mixed successes. That's all we have to change.
See,
that's the only problem.
But you know what?
Sorry, I'm not a GURPS head.
Like you said, no, neither am I. But exactly like you said, though, like I think an important thing of I always think of that quote from Jake the Dog from Adventure Time. Being good at something means sucking at it for a little bit. And so
that is basically what he said.
Yeah. Well, it's close enough. If I don't think he said sucks, I don't think he could say sucks. But if he could say sucks, he would have said
He said suck.
Oh,
he said sucking at something is the first step to being good at something.
Okay. Well, I got that.
I think it's like second step is the first step to sucking a little less or something like that.
No, I definitely got it right, and I'm not gonna look it up.
No, we're not going to look it up. That's correct.
But luckily, everybody is correct.
Yeah,
so.
I think like it's come up. It's come up a couple times. The idea that just like if you want to do a thing, it sounds weird to say. If you want to do a thing, you have to just do it. You have to just do it.
In the words of Apocalypse World, to do it, you have to do it. Damn it,
Quinn! I was just about to say it.
You scooped me earlier, so now I get the scoop.
But yeah. I mean, just do the damn thing. I feel like I say this on pretty much every podcast that I'm on. Just do the damn thing.
Yeah.
It's fun. Also, make sure you're having fun while you're doing it.
It's fun, and the thing is that if you start doing the thing, you'll connect up with other people who are doing the thing, and that will really help you do the thing. Because we can say, "Oh, just do it. It's not that hard." All we want, and that is true on one level. But doing something alone sucks. Doing it alone for too long sucks. So a community is so important to growing as a designer. And that can mean a lot of things, right? It could be like, community, maybe you really don't like talking to a motherfucker, right? And maybe that's fine. But even then, reading games, just reading a lot of games, that's a community in a sense, right? But just as long as you're as you don't do the whole thing alone, you have people, you have like a friend and you're like, hey, I just came up with this thing, huh? Read it, please. I wouldn't be anywhere if I didn't have friends who were gracious enough to read my bullshit. Nowhere at all.
I think a lot about all of the hobbies that I have had throughout the entirety of my existence and how each one of them persisted for as long as I was able to hang out with people who were doing that same thing. I used to make music. I used to do poetry. I used to do a whole lot of other stuff because that's the communities that I was in. Those were the people I knew at college. That was the people that I knew from band. And I feel very lucky that, I've got this one now. We've got TTRPGs and the game design stuff, and it's going pretty well, and it's a lot of fun, and the community is mostly good. But I've met some really great people doing it, and it has helped Jam and I both persist and continue making games.
It's a thing I heard someone talk about recently is, talking about being into different hobbies, being different things, and all of this. I think like an important thing to think about is like if you get into making music for a year, as an example, and you try and you learn and you do that and you ultimately, and I think this is an adult thing to do, is to recognize like, I don't think this is for me. And not get down on yourself that like, I'm bad, I should quit. But after giving it a try and like understanding I think it's very mature and understandable to reach a point and say, I actually don't think this is what I want to do. I don't think this is like, I don't think this is aligning with the things that I want to do.
You can take the kalimba and drop it off at Goodwill and be done with it.
I mean, you fuck it, man. Your time on this trip is
I have
finite.
A kalimba in my closet. Like, don't.
I was wondering.
You're adding yourself here. It's like, no, you can do.
I have a kalimba in there. I have an automaton on my shelf right there. I have a fully sized MIDI keyboard behind this dresser that I've got here. I have a drum set disassembled in the living room.
Perfect.
Killer. In fact, all of the musical instruments I own, I inherited directly from my grandma, who acquired all of them and never learned to play any of them.
I love having ADHD and being super normal.
My favorite activity is being normal.
Yeah, God, that's the second subtitle for the next game. Yeah. But
check out My Brain is a Stick of Butter from Adam Bell.
Yes, phenomenal game about being normal.
You can tell it's normal because it describes an experience that all of us can relate to.
I can hear the capital on being normal. Like I can hear you say it's capital B, capital N. But
it's the game designer's trick, being able to speak in capitals. It comes from all the practice with proper nouns. Dude. We love a proper noun. Oh god, there were so many times during development when I was like, Nova, all we need is one more proper noun. Come on.
Genuinely, we all like
with your hat in your hand.
Came to me and
Nova,
was like,
one more.
Seriously, there was a very real moment because we were trying to figure out some of the writing issues that we were like. We have archetype refrains and refrains, and we were struggling to figure out how do we need to write this into the game in a way that doesn't suck ass to read. And we have too many proper nouns in that game as is, and Quinn figured out a perfect one, and I'm not going to let you say it on the podcast. Quinn figured out a genuinely perfect one that would have been wonderful to write into the game if we had discovered it like 4 months ago. But right now, we're done. We're not adding more shit. We're not defining more proper nouns. I want to take some out, but the game wouldn't work if we did.
I want to take out rivals, but then it's like that's an important one. Why would we?
It really was such a perfect word. But even I knew as I was suggesting it, I was like, "There's no way. There is no way we can't afford to do it." And that is.
Listen, you write it down. You make a document called Dragon Reactor Second Edition. And then
I told Quinn to delete that document.
You write a new document that's called Secret Not Dragon Reactor 2nd Edition.
What we are doing, all of our continued ongoing ideas for new things are going into a set of expansions that we are toying with writing, that we are not going to name drop here because it is not ready to be name dropped yet, but we do have shit in the works.
Yeah,
provided our Backerkit campaign funds at bytes.rip/streams, coming to Backerkit August 1st, 2025.
We really want to release more stuff for this game because it's got room for it, and it's so cool by itself, and it's going to be so cool with more stuff. But for that to happen, this version of it has to be a success in its own right. So help us out here, folks.
It would be weird if you released an expansion for a game that wasn't out. But that is also kind of funny.
They do it with movies. Dude Bro Party Massacre 3? 4? 2? I don't remember. It's one of the sequels. They do it all the time.
I don't know what you just said to me.
I said Dude Bro Party Massacre 3 or 4 or 2. I can't remember. Quinn, have I not told you about this movie?
No, what the fuck is going on?
Okay, cool. We're not doing development work on Sunday. We're gonna watch a movie.
Works for me. This is the good part about being closer to the end of development.
We can just kind of we're doing a campaign session because Kevin can play again, I think.
Oh, sick! Fuck yes! Okay, awesome.
Anyways, hey Matt, what else you got for us?
Yeah.
I think now's a great time to dive into homework. Because I'm gonna be honest with the listener and with everyone here. I don't know how long that's gonna take, so maybe we get that started.
I think that sounds like a great idea.
So for people who don't know, if this is somehow maybe your first episode, homework is a thing I pose to the guest before they're on the show. It's 2 to 3 things that they think are really exciting that they want to shout out, since the whole purpose of the show is to shout out people doing cool things. I figured let's have the guests shout out cool things that they want to talk about. It can or cannot be related to what they're working on. And, it's up to them. So who wants to go first? Who's ready?
And we'll just trade off.
Yeah, I think that people really honestly should probably be paying attention to the stuff that Plus One XP is doing with the Zine Club. I think that the Zine Club is phenomenal, and I'm really, really excited by the things that Plus One XP has been doing. Use
code WD Podcast to get 10% off your first month of Zine Club.
Hell yeah, let's go.
I might just do that.
Let's go. And I mean, they have helped us republish one of our games. Butt and Head is JM's hack of Gun and Slinger, where you play 2 halves of a centaur. There's a lot of really, really cool stuff that Snow is doing as a designer. In fact, hang on. I just got my copy of Soul Cemetery in the mail. Yeah. I haven't opened it yet, but I'm very, very excited to finally play the Rule of Rose TTRPG.
Listen to the episode where I talked to Snow about Soul Cemetery.
Oh, perfect. Good. Those are like the big TTRPG things that I really want to plug. Non-tabletop game stuff, I think everybody should watch Gundam G-Quux. I think it's awesome. Everybody should watch Gundam 0079 and Zeta. There's tangentially related. I realized this when I was reminded of this game's existence, but I Divine Cybermancy has some DNA that's bled into Dragon Reactor for me.
Do you see they're making a sequel?
Or
a remaster or something?
That's how I was reminded of it, yeah.
That's nutty. I can't believe it.
It's such a weird old game. Yeah, it's definitely in there for me. What else? The book Murderbot Diaries and its show, if you haven't already. They're just phenomenal. That's what I got.
Hell yeah.
Okay, let's see. I think first off, this isn't one of mine, but just to tack on to what Nova was saying about Plus One EXP, they're just really good motherfuckers over there. They're good people. Tony Vicinda is a real one. Keegan is a real one. Plus One EXP just has such a great place in the space where they are this like kind of publishing house thing. They do the content creation, and I have a very strong feeling of trust towards them, which is not something that I think many of us can say about many publishers or platforms, but I trust those people and I trust what they do. So there's that. Just dropped today from Gem Room Games. It's Gorm.
Gorm, let's Gorm.
Let's Gorm. Don't say let's Gorm. That sounds.
Let's Gorm.
Let's Gorm. So, it's this really funky, abstract kind of a war game that Dan Phipps just has sort of been knocking together over the past few weeks, and I just think it's so.
I have it in the tab. Fun. I haven't seen it, but I haven't looked at it.
Speaking of Gem Room Games, you should definitely check out 9 Lives of Valhalla.
Wild,
which is game. What this shirt is from.
So cool. So there's that. Let me see. Tabletop wise, I've been playing a game of Fabula Ultima recently that I've been enjoying.
Fabula Ultima is so sick. What a cool game.
It's so good.
Really cool game. Eventually, me and Nova are going. I'm going to run a campaign of it for Nova at some point in the future.
I need to get my licenses first.
Yeah, right. Lots of stuff that has to happen before that, but I'm really excited about that. One thing about me is I am usually in the middle of some kind of media research binge. I like to really thoroughly get to know things, and so for the last few months, it's been Kamen Rider. I have officially finished. I've officially completed 7 Kamen Rider programs. That being the original 1971 Kamen Rider, 2002's Kamen Rider Ryuki, 2003's Kamen Rider Phase, 2009's Kamen Rider Double, 2019's Kamen Rider 01, 2020... Oh, no, sorry, that would be Saber, which I'm working on now, but I did watch 2021's Revice, as well as 2022's Geats. And I'm pretty sure that's all the ones that I've finished. And currently, I just started watching Kamen Rider V3, which is, of course, the direct sequel to 71.
Oh my god.
Well, so I'm watching 4 right now. I always watch 4 shows at a time. The reason why I'm at... Yeah.
I was just going to say, speaking of, like, Kamen Rider, I actually think there is definitely some Shin Kamen Rider and some Kamen Rider Black Sun in Dragon Reactor, too.
I think there's... Yeah, for sure.
Hey, Quinn, what if we made a Kamen Rider hack of Dragon Reactor?
Here's the weird thing. So, and this is something that I've actually been thinking about as I've been watching Kamen Rider.
We call Cycle Reactor.
Hey, there is a Japanese RPG. Did you know that in Japan they call them TRPGs? Yeah, I think that's cute. There's a Japanese TRPG called Convictor Drive that I believe is Kamen Rider inspired. And it does have a translation. I should give it a read. I get the feeling whenever I read a Japanese game, it's they have a lot of tables. It's very technical design. But I don't know if that's true of Convictor Drive. That's just the general sense I get.
For the listener, they call them TRPGs because they're called talking RPGs.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Which I think conversational games is actually, I am gonna shout that out. Fucking, what is the name of that? Bull.
I have no idea where you're going with
this. Who knows? Anything can happen.
I'm losing my goddamn mind. There is an incredible company, publishing house that does, they create games that are especially suited for the requirements of incarcerated people.
Yes.
Yes.
I cannot remember the name of the group.
Fucking thread. I made a big old thread about this thing sometime last year, and am trying to find it as quickly as I possibly can.
Well,
somebody else talk for a minute.
We can drop it in. Everything that we talk about will get linked in the show notes, so we can drop that in the show notes, and then people can
find it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, but just like if there is something in the TTRPG space that I want people to know about, it is 100% that company and that project, because they are amazing games. They're doing really, really interesting things with design, and they're also, like, it's really, really important to be thinking about the needs of the people who have been incarcerated in this stupid, somewhat evil country. I will find this goddamn link later, but so there's that. So anyway, I'm watching a lot of Kamen Rider, but anyway, the other thing that I was getting at talking about Kamen Rider, I have felt shockingly uninterested in making Kamen Rider into an RPG, primarily because while Kamen Rider has a structure, its genre really is just kind of your classic shonen thing, right? There's nothing really that makes Kamen Rider a unique enough thing that it would require a different kind of game. And I don't say this as a disparaging way of talking about Kamen Rider. I fucking like Kamen Rider, as evidenced by the fact that I'm currently watching 4 different Kamen Rider shows at the same time, after having previously finished 7 of them immediately preceding, right? So I obviously really like Kamen Rider, but to me, when I think about like what makes me want to turn something I like into a game, it is this feeling that I don't have faith that it has been captured elsewhere. And you know what? I do have faith that Kamen Rider has been captured elsewhere in one way or another. I think you could flavor almost any game you want to play as Kamen Rider. You could play Monster of the Week as Kamen Riders. You fucking know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, honestly,
however,
probably am.
This does lead me to one other thing that I will shout out, and I think that'll be my last one, which is Bump in the Dark. By Jex Thomas. I really, I think it's been long enough that I can say that I don't like a game. I don't think Monster of the Week is actually that good. I think that it does not learn the lessons that Apocalypse World was teaching. I think it is the example I use for a PBTA that did not take the lessons. And
you are not the first person I've heard say this.
Right. So, like, and the thing is that Bump in the Dark is a really, really excellent game that does, to me, what Monster of the Week was hoping to do with significantly more aplomb and more thought and tact. It's a bit more Forged in the Dark than PBTA, but it uses all of its influences in smart and efficient ways, and it just doesn't leave you hanging in the same way that Monster of the Week often does when you're trying to run it. You just feel much more supported. So if you've ever played Monster of the Week and you're like, dang, I thought this was fun when I was reading it, but it's not fun when I'm playing it, check out Bump in the Dark, because I think that does the job.
I like your thing of like, I think it's been long enough I can say I don't like this game. I like the concept that there's like a bubble that it's like, nah, game's too new. I gotta wait.
At least on a podcast. Right? Like,
we talked mad shit in our DMs, I'm gonna be honest.
You better.
As I think everyone
that's
should.
what DMs are for. DMs are for talking shit that then you go, okay, I got it out of my system. I don't gotta.
Yep.
Yeah.
There was TTRPG news today that I talked a lot of shit to a lot of people, and that was great. That was good. I don't have to.
Isn't that right?
I didn't have to make any posts, and that's good. I felt bad about that.
What's next? Yeah. What do we got? I think that's homework. We all got
except
A's.
for Matt. Except for Matt's homework.
Matt.
Matt?
I mean, I normally don't have homework, but I can have homework. Hang on, I normally don't, but this is a fun idea, and maybe I start having a homework. My homework, this is fun. Is You Will Die in This Place. By Liz Strike Studios on itch. I've seen a number of people talking about it. the last couple days. I have not had a chance to read it yet. It sounds like a TTRPG by way of House of Leaves.
Yeah.
This one, I've been seeing some buzz.
Yeah, I have it downloaded. I was going to read it tomorrow. Maybe because I have this, and then I also am going to a con this weekend. But yeah, in terms of, hey, this is new and looks really cool. Yeah, You Will Die in This Place, free preview on itch. It's coming to GameFound later. Check it out. It looks really good.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I might start doing homework. I figured my homework was the podcast, so
that's just true, like your job.
Yeah,
that's my job.
That's the work. Right, so Matt got an A on his homework.
Yes.
Well, the homework is for the listener. The homework is to make them do more stuff and read more cool games.
I gave you an A on your homework, Matt.
I'm not in school anymore. I don't need this. I don't. No, I got an A. I can't take the W. I got an A.
It's a better grade.
Yeah, if I take a
it's a much better grade.
To take a W. Oh God, that's so many.
It's so not even in there.
Yeah, it's there's already 0. How badly did I fuck up that I got all the way down to W?
You owe me points, man.
Oh, that's atrocious. But okay. I love the energy of this podcast. It's going to be hell to edit, but I love the energy of this podcast. I want to say it officially. In case anyone thinks, oh, Matt had a bad time. We did a bad job. This was a treat. This is how these go sometimes, and that's great. And all I can do in these moments is keep us moving, keep us on the track. That's it. That's all I can do. Listen, that's fine.
I feel like I'm just gonna say this. I feel like I kept us moving more than you did, but whatever.
Wow.
Well, I try not to. I try not to interrupt and be rude and interrupt the guests. You don't have that problem between the two of you, and that's fine. I let the dynamic between the two of you.
That's true.
I let the dynamic play out. Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
But so this is the final question. This is the 3 question. This is the question you didn't know about. At the end of the first episode, I asked my guest, the Amazing Star, who her top 3 guests to have on her podcast would be, and ever since then, I've asked every guest a similar question. This is fun when we have 2 guests. So you're gonna have the same question. You're gonna have to give 2 answers because 3 answers for each of you would take forever. So my question for each of you individually: what are your top 2 mechs that people don't think of as mechs?
The car from Pacific Drive.
I knew you were gonna be right fucking there with at least one. And yes, I agree. Yes. Homework.
I'm actually writing
Pacific Drive. Go play Pacific Drive.
I'm actually writing a video essay about that.
That game is so good, and not enough people are screaming about how good it is. It's rude.
And my second one is Baba Yaga's Hut.
That's a good one.
Oh shit.
Nova was too ready, and now Quinn is like, "Oh no!"
I know.
Okay.
You don't.
Alphonse Elric.
You don't have to. Ooh.
Yeah, that's good. That's pretty good. I like that.
And I cannot believe how ready you were, Nova. I cannot.
I cannot more.
Fucking.
Got more.
Oh, okay. Oh God. I gotta have one more. Surely, I've got something. Moon shoes.
Like the bounce shoes?
Yeah.
Hey, do you know how many people broke their legs in those?
All of them.
Yeah. Moon shoes are not a fucking joke, Quinn. I'm so tired, y'all.
That's not a joke.
Yeah, I like those. Those answers are very, very good. Alphonse, absolutely choice. Moon shoes, very, very good. 100%.
The fun thing about this, is you don't have to explain it. You just give the answer. You don't have to explain it. Nobody asked you to explain. You just...
Wait, I have one more piece of homework. I
also have one more piece of homework.
This is for me and Nova because we both had the same fucking thought.
I don't think we did.
Spout lore.
Okay, I have that piece of homework, but also another. Spout lore is the best actual play podcast that is doing it.
It is how me and Nova met each other, and if it wasn't for that, I would never have joined the Brain Trust Discord. Shout out to the Brain Trust. And if that hadn't happened, who knows where I would be. Spout lore is not only an absolute masterclass in what it means to world build and play collaboratively as a table, and how to actually work with the principles of PBTA storytelling. But every single person on there is fucking funny.
Mm-hmm. It is an incredibly hilarious show that is also incredibly touching. They will make thousands of dick jokes in an episode that then goes on to make me cry on my commute. It is a beautiful, beautiful show. And it's just great. Everyone who works on that is great. Spinning off of world building stuff, All My Fantasy Children, and All Timer podcast as well. Sure. But the other piece of homework that I had was the TV show Common Side Effects, which not enough people are talking about.
I don't think I've heard of that.
What that is. No.
It is a phenomenal animated show about what if there was a mushroom that could heal anything.
Oh.
It's really, really good. We finished it last night. I can't stop thinking about it. That's it. No more homework.
I think I remember what it is.
Matt, what's next? We gotta eject.
We gotta be done.
We'll talk about bullshit for another hour.
That is true. That's why
Bowl Press. It's just Bowl Press.
Like
Boldpress.org, Boldpress conversational.
We got
games.
there. We got there.
Finally.
I love
and with that.
Yeah, and with that.
Now we can escape without any cliffhangers.
But listen, that's the end. Nova's absolutely right. If we let it happen, it'll go on for another hour and we have to call it because I have to go to bed. But
I have to study.
Nova, one more time, where can people find it? Give me all the details. You've said it a bunch, but here at the end, let's get it all together. Yeah.
So thank you so much for having us. I have been and will continue to be Nova, aka Nevyn Holmes of Dynaberry Press, with my incredible co-designer and friend Quinn Morris of 200 Proof Games. We are working on, and you have heard us mostly talking about, our mythopoetic mech tabletop Mythopoetic Mech Tragedy, can't forget that one, TTRPG Dragon Reactor, Embers, Ashes, Moments, and Stars, which currently has a free quick start and demo that you can find on my itch page or by going to bytes.rip/dreamsdemo. That's bytes.rip/dreams, the thing some people have when they sleep, and demo, the thing that used to come when you got some Pizza Hut. And you can find the full Backerkit page where you should follow us at bytes.rip/dreams. If we can get to 300 followers on Backerkit before the campaign launches, Quinn and I will be doing a Q&A stream where we play Armored Core 6 co-op. You want to see that almost as much as we want to do it? So please give us an excuse to be dipshits on Twitch and go to bytes.rip/streams. Tell all of your friends. We have a relatively small goal for this project. We've been very focused with it, but by the time this comes out, we have definitely expended our natural grasp and reach. Every little bit helps.
Yes.
And go to dynaberrypress.com. And Quinn, what's your website?
200proof.games. That's 200proof.games. You can read the 1E manifesto, a couple other blog posts. It'll,
Poke around. See what you find.
I do have a podcast. I do have another podcast, Urasawa Boys, where me and Matt Fennell talk about the works of manga author and artist Naoki Urasawa. We have an entire season on Monster, which you might know. Great show. Great series, and we had a lot of fun doing it. And we just finished yesterday recording volume 7 of the series Pluto. So Pluto is just about to wrap up this summer, and then we're into Master Keaton after that. So if you're a manga person, if you like Monster, if you like Pluto, if you like Urasawa at all, check it out, because we are doing some top grade media analysis over there.
Last thing, and then I'll let you go to bed. From now until the end of the Dragon Reactor campaign, if you are a collectibles freak like me, you can get a free print copy of the Dragon Reactor demo on any order on anything on the Dinoberry Press website that is $20 or more. Or you can buy the demo itself for the $5. $5 for a print zine that is gorgeous and developed and will not be available after August 29th.
Hell yeah. Listen, I think a great theme of this podcast is me asking for a little and getting so much more. And I think this outro, it was exactly that. Was I asked for a little and you gave me so much more. And so I want to say how much I appreciate both of you. Thank you so much for making time and, making time in your schedule for all of this. It is always fantastic to have people come on the podcast. It always means so much that people will take time and energy and effort to come be on the show, to talk to everybody, to talk to me about their games and all their stuff. So first off, thank you everybody for listening. That's going to be it. I got to go to bed. Say bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
That's the interview. I want to thank Quinn and Nova so much for making time to be on the show and talk about Dragon Reactor. As you could tell, it was a bit. I had an absolutely fantastic time chatting. I'm so excited to see Dragon Reactor's crowdfunding. I think people are really going to get excited about it. And I'm looking forward to it being a air quotes, full game. You can follow the Backerkit campaign for Dragon Reactor at bytes.rip/dreams. Links, as always, will be in the show notes. Make sure you sign up to the page so you get notified when the crowdfunding goes live. And you can also download the demo from a link on that page, but also you can go to bytes.rip/dreamsdemo to go straight to the itch page to download and read the demo yourself. I highly recommend you do that. The demo is so fantastic. It's so immediately evocative. It grabbed me right away. I think this is going to be a fantastic game. I want to thank everybody for listening. There was a little bit of a delay caused by travel, and then I just kind of had a little downtime. But we're back at it. I've got a number of episodes already recorded, ready to go, and we're scheduling. We're banging on all cylinders. As always, you can follow the show on Blue Sky and Instagram at whatchadoinpod. I might remember that there's an Instagram account and we might make a post, so make sure to follow so you see if I remember there's a post. And make sure to follow the show on Patreon. You can follow the show completely free on Patreon to access video and audio versions, the same you can get anywhere else. And if you support the show to help me pay for episodes and hosting and all of that, you get access to the small smattering of behind the scenes sort of outtakes things. My big thing for the show is never have any interview content with anybody behind a paywall, because that's kind of antithetical to what we're doing. But you can get behind the scenes small little clips, like the time Grim jumped up and got all up in the recording. And there's new Q&A threads. Every time I schedule an interview with a designer, there'll be a Q&A thread on the Patreon that if you are a supporting member, you will be able to leave your own questions and comments and whatever, and that will become a part of the show. There's one currently live right now on the Patreon for the next one that we have mostly tentatively scheduled. And I have another person I have two people actually that we've been talking about having on the show. So make sure you get over there. There is the early bird tier for $3 that has a limited number of spots. And then the regular tier is just $5 a month. And if even a handful of people back to that level, that would help me pay for the hosting, and that would be fantastic. But as always, listening is more than enough for me, and I greatly appreciate everybody. Before we get out of here, I want to thank our friends over at Plus One EXP, who we talked about in this episode. If you head over to plusoneexp.com, which, I mean, you should, they sell amazing games, you can use the coupon code WDPodcast, all one word, to get 10% off of any physical or digital purchase or your first month of Zine Club. Again, that's WD Podcast, all one word, for 10% off any purchase, physical or digital, or your first month of Zine Club, which I highly, highly recommend. Now I got to get ready to go out of town again, so I'll see you in the next one.